Okay, now we are going to make this style of ornament, this cute little half circle style of ornament. So for this, you just need the rest of the things in your kit. You need your needle, you need your felt ball, you need your wood bead, this piece of string, this dowel, and then the rest of your cord. And then of course you need some scissors and a measuring tape. So for this one, we are going to cut from our cord one 13-inch piece and four 23-inch pieces. Okay, so once you've cut your one 13-inch piece and your four 23-inch pieces, you're going to want to take your dowel, and then we are going to need to find a spot where you can hang up your dowel, so that just kind of like the other ornament, so that you can use your hands and not have to hold your dowel. So I just have two command hooks that I just put on a wall, and I hang this up, and then after I'm done with the project, I just take the command hooks down off of the wall. Okay, so you can see I've put my command hooks on my wall, and then I just grabbed two rubber bands and kind of just secured them to the dowel so that it didn't slide around, to make it pretty good and secure. So now we're gonna take two of our 23-inch piece cords, and we're going to make two lark's head knots. So we're going to go up and through, pull that tight, and then I'm gonna go on the left of this one. And then before I pull this one tight, I actually want the cord on the right to be 5 inches longer than the cord on the left. So I'm just going to loosen it and pull it, loosen it and pull it until I am 5 inches longer on the right side. So I'm gonna grab my tape measure, and I'm just right about 5 inches. And then once I have that measured and good, I'm going to just tighten my pieces here. So now we are going to grab that 5 inches longer cord, and we're gonna put it in our right hand, and we're gonna cross over. This is going to be our holding cord, and we're going to make two double 1/2 inch knots. I taught you these in the first ornament, so you'll recognize them. So we are going to ignore this piece for now. We are going to grab this next cord. We're gonna make a number 4, and we're gonna go through and tighten that. Do that same step, number 4, through, tighten that. Make sure it's really, really tight. Put that cord down, pick up the next one, do a number 4. And as I'm tightening this one, I'm pulling this holding cord to my right, because as you can see, I'm kind of creating a little hump right here. This is our first half circle. I'm gonna do one more 4, pull that tight. For this next step, we're going to create a loop, and then you're gonna grab your tail, you're gonna go over and through that loop and pull it very tight. And then you're gonna take that same cord and you're gonna make another loop, and you're gonna go under the dowel and pull that through the loop, okay? And so now you've just created the same look as that lark's head knot from the beginning. Now we're gonna grab another one of our 23-inch cords, and we're going to be making a lark's head knot on the left side again. But only on this one, we are going to make one of our tails 6 inches longer. So the tail on the right needs to be 6 inches longer than the tail on the left. So you're gonna grab your measuring tape, make sure that you have 6 inches longer, and you're going to tighten that once once you're there, now we're gonna grab that cord that's 6 inches longer, and it's gonna be our holding cord. Hold it in your right hand, and we're going to leave that furthest to the left piece alone, and we're gonna grab that next cord, and we're going to do double 1/2 inch knots. So make a number 4. Pull that tight. Another number 4. Pull that tight. Put that cord down. Pick up your next one. Number 4. Once you've done those first 2 cords, you're gonna see that we have a gap here in the center. So we're gonna grab our 11-inch cord, okay, and fold it in half. And then we're gonna grab that holding cord, that one that was 6 inches longer, and we're gonna take it and go under, and then we're gonna pull those tails through. So it's a backwards lark's head knot, okay? Make that tight. And then we're going to, so now that is pretty much our center piece. So now we're gonna continue, after we've done that knot, we're gonna continue making our double 1/2 inch knots with the remaining 2 pieces. So we're still holding this piece with our right hand, and we're making a number 4. Another number 4. Grabbing the next piece, number 4. Number 4. And then once we're here, we're gonna finish it off by doing a loop and then pulling our tail over and through. And we're making everything really tight as we go. And then we're going to make another loop, and we're gonna go under and through like that. So now we are going to grab our last 23-inch piece, and we're going to be making a lark's head knot on the left side. And you guessed it, the right cord needs to be 6 inches longer than the left. So I'm going to adjust that, measure it, make sure it's 6 inches longer than the right or the left. I'm gonna pull it tight, pull that cord tight. Okay, so I'm gonna grab that piece that's 6 inches longer. That's going to be my holding cord. I'm gonna pull it over. I'm going to leave that first cord on the left alone, and I'm going to pick up that next cord, and I'm gonna do double 1/2 inch knots, so the number 4 twice, all the way around. And then just like before, we're going to make a loop, and we're gonna go over, through, pull that tight, and make another loop. We're gonna go under and pull that through. Okay, now that we are all done with that, we are going to trim our ends. And so I like to have mine kind of be like a little loop to go along with that half circle. So I'm just going to start in the middle and just kind of go up. I'm sure I'll trim more as I go. And then I'm gonna take all of my ends and I'm going to unwind them. I'm gonna uncrimp them. Okay, so before I trim anything, I'm actually gonna trim my dowel because we don't need it to be this long. So I'm gonna kind of pull it over to one side so I only have to trim one end. And just be really careful when you're doing this. First of all, not to let your macrame slide off, but also be really careful when you're cutting. I don't want anyone to cut themselves. So I just, I'm gonna take some really sharp scissors and I'm just going to kind of saw back and forth. Just be really, really careful here. Don't go too fast. This can take some time. So you don't want your macrame to slip off the edge. But once you kind of carve a little dent here, typically you'll be able to just easily snap that off. And then you can kind of just trim off those pieces and smooth that out a little bit. So now you have a smaller dowel for your ornament. And now we can trim our pieces. So you can either leave it like this or you can get your steamer and you can steam it to make it much more smooth. So you can see on this one, this is steamed and very smooth, or you can leave it just a little bit more crimpy. It's totally a preference thing. So I am actually going to steam mine. So I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, now we're gonna grab our last piece of string and we're going to fold it in half. First, I'm actually going to take my ends and I'm gonna cut a really straight piece. So we're gonna fold that piece in half, grab the two ends, and we're gonna string our needle through those two ends. So you might need to, I always kind of pinch it. Sometimes I get it wet, I bite it. So I'll get it really, I'll pinch them together and I'll string that through my needle. Doesn't have to be perfect. So once you get those two pieces through, we're going to pick up our ornament and going through the back, we're going to find the exact center of our cord, okay? So see right here, I'm going underneath the dowel through the very center, through the back, and I'm gonna pull that through, okay? And I'm going to take my needle end and I'm going to string that, loop it through that loop, okay? So I'm gonna pull it through the loop, still with my needle strung. And we're making a lark's head knot. And then you can really just kind of push those cord pieces together once you get it really tight so that it's pretty hidden in there, okay? So now we still have our needle strung on our cord. If it came through, just restring it. And we're going to take our felt ball and we're going to string it through. So you might want to grab your pliers, or you can just sit and work that felt ball through the needle. I always use my pliers. It is so easy to just grab and pull through. Sometimes my needle will fall off. I need that to be strung again, so I'm just going to restring it. So I've got my felt ball on. I'll go ahead and restring my needle and then put the wood bead on. So now that I have my wood bead on, I can take my needle, put it aside, and I need to make a few knots so that my wood bead doesn't slide through. So I'm just going to make knots as close and tight as possible to the very top of that wood bead so that the wood bead and the felt ball stay snug together. See, I don't want to have that gap. So I could either take it out and do it again, or I could just do another knot and just kind of connect those two knots together so that it's all snug, just like that. And there you have your second ornament. You can put your essential oils on an unfinished wood bead and on your felt ball and hang it on your tree.